You gotta fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. So Steve,
Is that a Chris Rock joke?
sorta. Steve didn't watch the Oscars. First off, welcome to 2 Cents. This is the Dollar Views weekly news recap show. Do anything, movies, TV, VR, tech, anything that I read. And so yeah, we try to get a Oscar ballot show earlier in the week, and it didn't work. And so
just tell me that The Revenant won. Just tell me it won.
it won some stuff. It didn't win though.
Oh.
So did you want to try to guess the big awards, or do you want me to
All
just
right.
tell you?
All right. Let me see. Did Brooklyn get it?
Nope.
Did a
think
movie that was
important.
in my top 10? Did a movie that was in my top 10 get
It's
it?
in my top 10.
Spotlight got it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's an important movie. It totally makes sense that it wins an Oscar.
Yeah,
I
but it's also I feel like it's a very forgettable movie too. I mean,
don't care.
I'm not heartbroken over it. The Oscars typically, I don't know. It's always the thing of like, yeah, the movie that wins Best Picture tends to be the one that won't be remembered in the long run compared to nominees. That's how I feel about it anyway. When you look at it historically, but
depends on the year.
it's a fine movie.
Fine
I mean,
movie.
yeah, they
A lot of
did
people
fine.
see it.
Yeah,
It's an important movie.
Yeah,
It has a
I
good
mean-
message. Their acceptance speech, they're like, yeah, we're going to try to go to the Vatican now. So, I mean, I was okay with The Big Short or Spotlight winning, and anything else was whatever. The only one I didn't want to win was Brooklyn. I would have been kind of pissy if The Revenant did, too.
Yeah. So, did Tom McCarthy get it?
No.
Okay, I'm guessing Inarritu did not get it again.
No, yes, he did. He got a repeat.
He did.
So
Did Chivo get it
yep,
as well?
he got it to repeat. So for the last 3 years in a row for directing and cinematography, I've been handed out to Mexican Americans.
All right. Well, let me see. I'm guessing. Okay, Leo won, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Did Brie Larson get it?
she did. Our girl won.
Okay. Yeah, that's about it. I can't remember who was nominated for supporting.
Mark Rylance beat out Sylvester Stallone, and then
nice.
Alicia Vikander won for Danish Girl.
Right on. And then yeah, I guess that covers. Actually, no. I want to know this. Who won for best score?
It's Ennio Morricone.
Nice. Did he? Was he there?
Yeah, he did his speech in
Nice.
Italian. You would think someone that old who's been in filmmaking for this long would know how to speak even broken English. I guess not.
Was it subtitled when he was speaking?
No, he had like
Or transcribed?
a caretaker walking with
translator?
him who translated. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, good for him, man.
I guess.
I was curious just to know that one.
It was
yeah.
like a token award. It didn't really mean anything, and I'm also upset about it too because now I know Tarantino's gonna be like, "I'm the guy that got Morricone his only Oscar. I'm the only one that got him a Golden Globe. It was me. I'm that great."
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about Tarantino just being so narcissistic that's kind of entertaining. You know, it's not like whiny in the way that like Kevin Smith tends to be.
I don't know. I like kind of. I don't come down on him as much as I used to, just because he seems like he's having fun with it. Whereas like someone like Tarantino or Kanye, it's like, no, look at me, I'm the best. Look at me. And Kevin Smith, like that's how he used to be, and now it's like, eh.
I think Kevin Smith, he's mellowed out a lot more since the Southwest.
Yeah, I think
incident.
once he started losing weight, he became more human.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Did Spotlight get anything else, or was it just Best Picture?
Just Best Picture. Wait, no, it won original screenplay too. Probably the coolest award of the night was that Adam McKay won Best Adapted Screenplay. So he's
nice. I was
Academy
just gonna ask.
Award-winning director now
Nice.
for all time.
That's awesome.
Awesome. The only thing cooler than that was that Mad Max won 6 awards. All the technical stuff.
All technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like best. It didn't win best special effects. I went to Ex Machina, but it won editing, sound mixing, sound design, sets, production, wardrobe, all the stuff that it had to win. So that's good. You know, a lot more people are going to go buy that Blu-ray now, hopefully in 3D, because it is one of those movies that is a lot better in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, I agree.
But it was it was an okay show. Like the worst part was that everyone's fears came true. The entire monologue was about Oscar So White. Every single segment was about it. The majority of the jokes were pointed towards diversity. There was this thing where like it was like your Black History Month minute, and they were talking about like you thought they were talking about Will Smith, but it ended up being about Jack Black, and then they like went to a movie theater in Compton. They were doing like Vox Pop interviews about, have you seen any of these white movies this year? Like,
So basically, the joke's overdone.
it wasn't overdone because they were pretty good, and like a lot of people were sincere. Like I said, some of the gags were interesting because like they did like The Martian, The Danish Girl, The Revenant, like let's put some black people in these movies. Like the Danish Girl one with Tracy Morgan is hilarious. Like you got to go find that on YouTube. But it was just like, okay, like we knew that this was a big thing. Chris Rock in his monologue is like, yeah, so I had people were told me to quit. It's like it's funny because only the people that don't have jobs tell you to quit a job. Like, I don't know. It wasn't a bad show. It wasn't, it wasn't Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin. It wasn't James Franco and Anne Hathaway. It wasn't one of those. It was fine. Like some stuff was really good. Jacob Tremblay and Abraham Attah like got to present an award, so that was really fucking cool.
Nice.
There was like a C-3PO moment with R2-D2 and BB-8 where they like.
I heard that BB-8 got up on there. Like that was the one thing I saw on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I gotta log out now.
But then like it like weird shit. Like I started this with Fight the Power when Chris Rock walked out on the stage at the beginning. They played like the opening to that song without any lyrics. And I was like, what the fuck? This is weird. And then even weirder than that, they played the actual song as the closing credits music. Yeah, it was an okay ceremony.
So we know what this Oscar ceremony was basically all about.
It was damage control. Go on Twitter, read my tweets. The red carpet stuff on ABC, they got like 3 or 4 black people interviewed by Gail Weathers, who is black, and they were talking about diversity on the red carpet.
Well, I mean,
on purpose.
Okay. Well, I mean, the only thing that you can hope out of this, it might make for a very blah show to watch, but I mean, at least hopefully it should be so fucking drilled into the Academy's heads at this point. And they've already talked about enacting change, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, next year we should see more improvements there. I mean, because it's gotten way too cliche what you expect the Oscars to vote for and nominate these days.
I don't know. There's some pretty good upsets this year, so I do approve of that. Like there wasn't any win that I was upset by. It wasn't last year where like Birdman beat out Boyhood or anything like that, or for a better case, Inarritu beating out Linklater. Like I said, it was a fine ceremony. It was a little longer than I thought it was. Like, I thought it was gonna be about 30 minutes shorter, but it was fine. But yeah, let's talk about we're talking about diversity and issues and people being upset at the Academy. There's a new group of people upset at them. It's the stunt performers. They're petitioning for their own category, which totally makes sense. This is a quote from the press release. It's an insult to our profession. We take the written page and breathe life into it. People love action, and that's why they go to the movies. No disrespect, but who goes to the movies to see the hairstyles? With the deaths that have been happening on set recently, with how much acclaim that Mad Max has gotten this year, it's a total valid point. Why is it that there's 4 separate categories for actors, and yet the people that no one knows the names of never get any kind of recognition, even from the studios probably? It's never.
And I mean, this has been going on for like 40 years apparently, and I mean, I'm kind of ashamed to say that this is the first time I've actually heard about it. But I mean, yeah, no, it totally makes sense. I don't know why stunt people don't get nominated. I mean, if you can nominate
special effects,
special effects or visual
or
effects,
sound
then,
mixing,
I mean, yeah. I mean, God, I mean, the only names I know, like as far as stunt, okay, there's Yakina Kana, and then there's Vic Armstrong and just the Armstrong family in general.
I was going to say
I'm blanking out on the guy's name that did the jump off the dam at the beginning of GoldenEye, but I mean, yeah, no, there's a ton of talented people. Like, I mean, yeah, they really actually should get their own category. That makes a lot of sense.
And if not stunt performers, then just like best stunt coordination or something along those lines, because they are like an unsung hero. Mad Max wouldn't be good. Like, everyone loved it for how realistic it was, the fact that it wasn't CG, that these things are happening on screen, that it felt real and gritty. well, if there weren't the people risking their lives on the cars, it would have been shit. But you can tell
Yeah, I
CG,
mean,
you know.
you can even go way back to like Road Warrior or the
You
original
can go
Mad Max,
way
which
past that.
yeah, CG did not exist back
Look at something
then.
like
I mean, like,
Stagecoach or like Gone with the Wind,
yeah, no,
even.
like people are risking their fucking lives like on camera for
Hmm.
real for this. I mean, you know, you look at the General, like there's a fucking train crash that's for
Some of
real,
those stunts are crazy.
and that is massive. You know, I mean, this goes way, way back. So yeah, I don't. I mean, haven't they had at least honorary Oscars that have been given out to
Yeah.
stuntmen
Oh yeah,
before?
definitely. Like
So
at the
so
Governor's
yeah,
Award and their Tech Awards, I'm pretty sure that someone's got recognized for something. Maybe like admitted into the Hall of Fame. I doubt someone getting a star on Hollywood Boulevard. But you know, if you are a legend, then yeah, you know people in the industry know you. But that's not what the Academy Awards are for. It's for the public to like kind of observe this not legacy, but the people getting these awards, and also like having more products kind of known by the public. Um, but like the flip side of this coin, you know, and this is the last time we're going to talk about Oscar So White ever, hopefully. But like Ava DuVernay and Ryan Coogler, they boycotted the Oscars. So did Spike Lee. It was funny because when they showed the governor's ball stuff with Spike Lee getting his acceptance speech, I was like, okay, well they should have cut that out of the segment. Um, but yeah, they did this thing tonight that was going on at the exact same time as the Oscars. It was a nonprofit called Blackout for Human Rights, and they're throwing a live streamed event, hashtag Justice for Flint. It was all about getting clean water for the people and trying to bring change. And so a lot of black people, a lot of African American celebrities were there to try to make something happen, and it ended up working. They raised $122,000 as of right now from over 3,000 donators. So hopefully that can go a long way in terms of reversing whatever fracking they're doing up there in Michigan.
no, yeah. I mean, like during the Oscars.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
intentional political move. They wanted, I think Alicia Keys might have been there too. Like I said, there were some people that performed, and so it was like a free concert type thing slash like, it was I don't know where it was live streamed. I'm sure there was just a website. It wasn't a televised event. Maybe in Michigan. Um,
no. Well, honestly, I mean that's great. Like I've already said, I'm pretty sure that next year should be different. I mean, you know, we've had this dialogue. We had it rolling last year. Now it got way, way bigger. And I mean, if there's action like this, you know, being involved and they're able to raise that much, I mean, it should be different next year. I can't see any reason why it won't be.
it's one of those things where like they stressed it during the ceremony too. The president of the academy came out, who is a black woman herself, and she like
Hmm.
made a promise basically not just to the audience but to the academy and they're like to the industry. Like, oh, we're gonna change. Like this isn't about the future. This is about today or whatever. The same shit that they've been saying for a couple of months now. Um, and I know it's important. It's just like everyone was talking, including Chris Rock, about how no black people were involved as nominees or whatever. It's well, no one on stage ever said anything about the Hispanics or the Latinos or the people of Asian descent or Native Americans, indigenous peoples, anything like that. Like I retweeted Taika Waititi, who said this stuff. He's like, Oscars are so white and black. Like they don't care about anyone else. There's a status
I
quo.
mean, they at least use the term like people of color, which you know is far more broad. I
Not during the
mean,
Oscars, no. Chris Rock was making straight up just black jokes. All the segments were
all right.
involving black performers. Kevin Hart, like Tracy Morgan, like I said, it was 100% about we're not recognizing black people. Sidney Poitier making jokes about. There was like a really good thing he said. He was like, back in the 1960s, black people not winning awards wasn't a big deal because back then they had to deal with not being raped and lynched. Um, he was like, they protested things that were important. Um, yeah, hopefully, like I said, we never have to talk about this again.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure like. I don't think that means like there's trying to single out anybody on purpose. I mean, it's probably coming off that way, you know, but I don't know. I mean, really, just I think the main thing though is that the members of the Academy who's in there right now. I mean, what is it? 94% of it is old white men that are over 50. I mean, that like to me that figure really needs to change. There definitely needs to be more diversity there because you're not speaking for a broad group of people. I mean that's really the main thing. I don't know, like jokes about it or. I just don't want to read too deeply into this stuff. I mean, that's mainly where I'm coming from. Is like, yeah, I do think that they need to revise stuff in a way, which they are doing. I mean, we already talked about that.
But like I said, I just it's counterintuitive. Like I said, that black, not just actors, but black members of Hollywood were what was talked about during the ceremony. Like, even though so much was dedicated to that, and yes, it's Chris Rock, so that's what his humor's always been. But the fact that people of color outside of Afrocentricity weren't even like there was a couple of jokes about Asian kids making cell phones and stuff but no, like they had one Korean presenter, the bad guy from Terminator Salvation, not Salvation, I mean which one called Genesis.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he present? Visual effects?
It was him and Sofia Vergara, and they presented Best Foreign Film.
Oh. Oh, what won that, by the way?
Son of Sal. The Son of Sal, the Holocaust movie from, not Chile, Hungary?
I didn't... oh, yeah.
Yeah, won the Golden Globe, too.
No, I didn't see it.
But let's keep going. Something... I read this last night, pretty big. This guy, William Kyle Moriarty, admitted to uploading both the Revenant and the Peanuts movie on pirating sites. He was responsible. He got access to the screeners while working on studio backlots over the years, so that means Fox. The FBI's already got him into custody, I believe. There's some kind of plea bargain. But this is unprecedented.
Good. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, but just his name, William Kyle Moriarty, he sounds like a villain.
It's just because Moriarty's in his last name, right? That's the only reason why.
I don't know. It's just he seems like a bad guy. Like, how'd this happen? Is he like on the studio backlot? They have like a policy. Oh yeah, check out the screeners. Go home and watch them. He's like, I'll just put these on the internet.
I don't know how those get distributed. I mean, like, I'm sure that they get around, like, the high members of
if you're in
of the studio, like, they're probably like friendly with some of the guys that like work farther down. They're just like, oh, here, yeah, I'll loan you a copy or shit like that. I don't know. Or some people just steal them. Who knows how it works?
Who knows? I mean, unless you're in a guild or you're in the academy, you don't really know. Like I said, I know people, or I knew some friends in high school that were in SAG, and they said seriously just send it to your house. There's not any like postage where you have to sign with like a verified carrier or anything. No, it's just like it's sent to you. I'm pretty sure it's the same way at the Academy. That's why they're gonna, I bet, move to digital screeners, which we've talked about on the show, and if not this next award season, but then definitely the one after that. But yeah,
I mean, they're already doing that in Britain. I mean, according to Michael Caine, like he just has to type a code on his iPad and project it that way.
They do it for TV too. It's just the Academy. Yeah. So yeah, fuck that guy. But on the flip side, if it wasn't for that screener of The Revenant being available, who knows if Leo would have won?
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I know that the screener being out caused it to make more money than it probably would have. I'm pretty sure of that.
Wouldn't it be the exact opposite effect, that it would make
not really
less money with the screener available?
I mean, think about it. It's
work?
An art house movie. It's a long one. It's not the most accessible piece of cinema. When it's free online, someone can see it. They can watch it. They can tell their friends, oh, I got a screener for that. It's really good. They're like, oh, yeah? And then they go see it. That's how word of mouth works.
Yeah, but see, I get to the movies more often than you do. I mean, I would credit good marketing and a really good trailer, because every time that trailer came up for months, and like, I could not see a movie without seeing that fucking trailer, and every time, people would react positively to it and talk about wanting to see that. So, I mean, I would give the marketing team more credit for that, because it was a really well-marketed film.
Well, I don't know. I just, like, he might have done something stupid, but I wish there was some kind of tracking they could do for these type of things. I know someone, I can't remember who it was, some piracy group was doing a test, like they pirate video games, and they were gonna see they're going to not do it for a month and see how that affected sales, I believe. I need to find this article to see what kind of numbers they not articulated, what they told. But, it's still early days on these kind of things. So we're done talking about Oscars for a while. Talk about the other big hot topic right now, or at least something that a lot of people have been discussing for 3 weeks now, because that's how long Deadpool has been #1 at the box office. And there's more fuel in the fire. This week it was announced, or not announced, but someone found out on the internet. I read this on Reddit. That the Batman vs. Superman Director's Cut, aka the Ultimate Edition, has been rated R for Warner Home Entertainment. So who knows how much more material is going to be in there. It's probably going to be just like Zack Snyder's Watchmen Director's Cut, which had the extra stuff thrown in that couldn't be in theaters. On top of that, Wolverine 3 is targeting an R rating. And so 3 weeks ago, James Gunn, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy, him and then the media right after he went on Twitter, kind of flipped out. He was making these implications of what Deadpool's success is going to do for studios and how they're going to make their movies, and if rated R superhero films and comic book films are going to be the new thing. And we talked about this off air. It's fucking stupid, because there's a long list of superhero movies or comic book adaptations that have had R ratings. Not all of them have been hugely successful, but here's just some of them.
Mm-hmm.
300, both Sin Cities, Spawn, V for Vendetta, Watchmen, both Kick-Asses, Kingsman, that's getting a sequel, all 3 Punisher movies, the Blade trilogy, Daredevil Director's Cut, on and on. There's a couple more there, From Hell. It's not 1 or 2, and over half of those were successful, and that's why they have sequels.
Well, yeah, but also, the main thing I guess that just separates them all is that Deadpool it really has more mainstream appeal. I think it's not just the R rating that makes that movie so successful. That movie is very safe.
I think it's
exactly what you're getting into. It could be as subversive and foul as it wants, but it's a pretty safe, fairly generic movie when you get down to it. Whereas the other ones can be more polarizing.
I think it's more the fact of how huge of a monster Marvel is now, and the fact that they adapted a character that has a big fan following, that it made it, it obviously got bigger numbers than all those movies that is listed off. But that, like I said, it's a different day and age for the comic book movie. 300 was back in 2005. It's 10 years ago. So,
yeah,
I think it was 2004. In fact,
it was 2007 actually.
But even it's still a long time ago. Look at Zack Snyder now; he's doing a lot more. So I don't know. I think it's stupid. Especially when you take into account Marvel's shows on Netflix, they're PG-16. They have sex scenes. They have bad language. There's bloody violence. It's in the same territory as The Walking Dead on AMC. That show is basically an R-rated movie every Sunday.
Yeah, well, I don't. For me, part of my worry with this news, because I can't. There's other factors in there that come into play for me, but regarding an R rating, I hope that this isn't just some sort of fan service thing where, I don't know, the cut that I used, I was talking to a friend about this, and I brought up the unrated cut for Live Free or Die Hard, which some people think it's a superior cut. I think, there's obviously CG blood added in just for the sake of CG blood, and there's a bunch of F-bombs that are clearly ADR'd in there, and it's just not, it doesn't really add anything. You may as well stick with the PG-13 version of that movie. That's the way it was shot, but, that's part of my fear, is that I hope it doesn't end up like that, and you just get, extra CG blood or something. Even World War Z is another one where they just added, digital blood and stuff for the unrated cut for that. So that's
James Mangold.
That's part of my worry.
James Mangold.
That's part of my worry
with the Wolverine already. It was almost an R rating anyway. It was pretty bloody.
Yeah. Well, there is some CG blood, but then there's one key scene where it's okay, no, that is practical blood. They paint a whole town into blood, and it's pretty awesome. But that unrated cut is fairly good. Not as intense as I hoped it would have been, but here's the big problem with this news, though. Why the fuck do you announce this a month before your movie comes out? Why do you ever hint at the possibility of hey, you know what, fans? you don't all have to get out to the theater. A bunch of you can just wait until it fucking comes out on video, or a bunch of you'll see it on Pirate Bay anyway. Like, there are some fans that are just going to go, you know what, fuck it, I'll wait, just because of that. Like, you just lost some dollars there. I know it's going to make a shitload of money anyway, but why would you announce it this early?
Like I said, this wasn't an announcement. This was more of a kind of like when patents are unearthed and people see things. I think.
Okay, but it was confirmed.
Oh yeah, it's confirmed. But initially, if no one had picked up on it, it would have just floated under the radar until, I don't know, let's say like June, when the DVD was going to be starting to hit the rounds. But yeah, it is a little troubling. I am curious to see this R rating. Like, I'm sure, well, depending on how I like or dislike Batman versus Superman, I might want to see the Ultimate Edition at home just to see what that different experience is, to see what kind of extra content is there. Hopefully it doesn't hurt the film. But it is weird that DC, because Suicide Squad, that seems like it could be an R rating just because of the subject matter,
Like, they might do the same thing too, for all
They
we
probably
know.
are. But it's David Ayer. Like, he makes R-rated movies. It wouldn't be weird. Zack Snyder, for that matter too, he does do R-rated superhero movies, or comic book movies rather.
And there was also the director's cut of Sucker Punch, which was an R rating. So I mean, I doubt that it's going to be similar to that. Maybe closer to Watchmen, just with extra content.
Well, Watchmen was
Sucker Punch was mainly
R in
like
theaters
just
too, though.
Yeah, well, and then the director's cut was just all like
unrated.
Pretty much the entire book without the Black Freighter stuff. But yeah, I mean, Sucker Punch.
There's a Black Freighter version. Actually.
I guess that's
you don't know about that. There's
no, yeah, the Ultimate Cut. I've seen.
Where
that.
it's like interspliced. It's like that sounds like the stupidest thing ever made.
I've seen it. It doesn't work. I mean, it really just drags on. The director's cut too, for that matter, which is interesting. But I prefer the theatrical for that movie. You know what really I think is interesting here is that this is Warner Brothers doing this with their DC universe,
their big two properties, yeah.
Yeah, whereas with Marvel, like, they've kind of kept it like based within the just whatever the studio cut was there. I mean, there's been hints from Joss Whedon, or like people have asked him if there was going to be a director's cut of the Avengers or of even Age of Ultron, and then there's other. Even the Incredible Hulk, like Louis Leterrier was talking about showing off his 3-hour cut. I mean, so these like true director versions exist, but yeah, mainly with the Marvel films, it seems like the studio just kind of has the final say at the end of the day, and you mainly just get these cuts that are all meant to bridge these movies together. So it's interesting that DC is allowing a director's cut, and I don't know if that's supposed to be within canon of all the other stuff that they're doing, or if it's just like letting the director at least show their version by providing a different interpretation. I don't know how it seems weird how they're trying to put their universe together, or I don't know if it'll confuse audiences, or if they can at least trust that people will be smart enough to get that. I would hope that it's the latter.
Well, it's funny because talking about Marvel and how they do things, Brad Payton tweeted out when this happened that Ant-Man and the Wasp is getting an NC-17 confirmed. So you can tell that he's having fun.
That's exactly what we want.
That could be pretty cool. Like, I like Showgirls as much as the next guy, So like, imagine Paul Verhoeven coming back and making like a RoboCop true reboot in NC-17. That would totally be for that. Just over like.
No,
gore.
I was just gonna say for Marvel Phase 4, they should look into hiring those porn
make it straight like the
guys,
Triple X parodies, like.
And that's the future. It's like, no, it's not R-rated superhero movies. It's NC-17. We're going to step beyond,
of course, it's gonna be VR too.
Oh hell yeah!
But I don't know if Zack Snyder has final cut. He probably has something close to it. I mean, if he's getting this Ultimate Edition, aka Director's Cut, on DVD/home video.
Yeah, he's at least getting his own version. If it's, they're calling it the Director's Cut, so if they're staying true to what those words mean, then yeah, he should have his version out there.
I mean, they got, full steam ahead, because Justice League's going to start filming, like, right around the corner, April 11th, in fact. So, he's a busy guy. He's doing that two-parter. He just finished this. It's not even out yet, and he's basically shooting it. He tweeted, in fact, I think it was on Tuesday, a picture with him, with Jason Momoa, and in the background there's several Justice League props. Most notable is Flash's suit in the background. So DC must be happy with him. He's kind of their boy wonder. He's successfully adapted several of their properties. Like I said, I'm curious. I do agree with James Gunn though. Like, hopefully, the filmmakers and the studios are doing this for the right reason. I think that's what everyone hopes. It's not just, hey, Daredevil is R. Let's just make them all R-rated. Let's just do it, because they're not necessary for kids, but a superhero is a big part of American culture and international culture, for that matter. Like, instead of having these biblical stories or this mythologies now, like, we have the superhero. Like, that is what we have. Like, Neil Gaiman calls them American gods, and so do I. Like, that is American culture. Like, especially like in the early 20th century, like, that was it was like our first true art form outside of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And then even still in filmmaking, it was the superheroes back then with the serials and stuff. So
I mean, and especially with the PG-13 movie, I mean, that's basically the middle ground where you find a way to have it appeal to everybody, because that's what superheroes are mainly for. But I mean, I don't know about Batman versus Superman. Like, I did read the article on Slash Film. They did make a good point of, like, yeah, just something seems weird about having Superman in a movie that's not supposed to be aimed at kids.
Well,
but
this is Batman versus Superman, though.
Yeah, that too. But, like, the Wolverine, though, I mean, that
should be
that
R.
makes sense.
It's a guy with claws that come out of his fists, and he can, it doesn't matter what you do to him, he can regenerate just like Deadpool, and he has a foul mouth, and he smokes cigars, and he's grisly, and, like, the rumors for this third and supposedly final appearance of the Wolverine, at least in terms of how Hugh Jackman's concerned, is that it's going to be an adaptation of Old Man Logan, which I've read. It's a Mark Millar comic where it's like a post-apocalyptic world, and he's still, like, he's old, and it's kind of like an Unforgiven story, but with Wolverine instead of Clint Eastwood. So pretty interesting comic. That it'd be really cool if that is the route they go. Who knows?
I am looking forward to it.
Moving on to the rest of our headlines before we jump into some VR stuff. We talk about China a lot on the show. We're going to again. After pressure from investors, Viacom has decided to put a minority stake up from Paramount. So who knows how big a percentage that's going to be? Like, maybe it's 15, who knows? It's just minority right now. And China's the natural target here because Hollywood isn't interested in paying money without being able to drive the bus, Like, Lionsgate is a mid-major. Why would they pay XX million dollars to not even control the studio that they're going to be partial ownership of? Like, Wanda's off the table because they already bought Legendary. Perfect World is already invested in Universal, so they're probably not interested. But I'm sure there's someone is. I bet in the next week or two, probably before the end of March, it's going to be announced that Paramount is partially owned by whatever Chinese conglomerate.
Yeah, it's... God, what's the last studio that doesn't have anything owned by China right now? Disney?
Probably. But then again, like, Hong Kong Disneyland's opening right now. And then Colombia has been 100% owned by Japan since the mid-'80s, so...
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, but I don't know. I guess the fear there is China because they got very strict censorship rules, and they can, like, just straight up order you not to put some. Well, I guess it's not that different from Hollywood.
No, it really isn't. I mean, we're just talking about R-rated superhero movies.
It's just yeah. Although they are very different regulations by the country.
I think there's a difference here, though. Like, if someone's coming in and they're putting money in, it's just an investment. They're trying to make money. You got to spend money to make money. This isn't them trying to buy it and move the studio to China to make their own blockbusters. Like, I'm sure...
No, but I guess the fear over time is that that's what that could be. I mean, because, it's not like this hasn't happened before. I mean, they changed pixels just to appease Chinese audiences and investors.
That Great Wall of China sequence could have been really cool too. I hope there's
not that it pixels was fun, but I mean I guess freedom of speech. I guess that is, if there is a concern. I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind when it's China taking over Hollywood. But who knows? Maybe it's right now it doesn't sound like it's anything.
I mean, it's going both ways, though. This week also, Universal, Lionsgate, and MGM signed up with Hong Kong's Fifth Deal, which is a startup a mobile gaming startup, so they've already made some games that are like promotion for movies. But for all three of those studios, their upcoming franchise, I would assume Minions, Fast and Furious, Hunger Games, whenever they got to reboot, Rocky, whatever, are gonna have built-in marketing through these mobile games. And some of the games that Fifth Deal have made have been fairly successful too. I think they had like an Infinite Runner type game, kind of like Temple Run. I can't remember which film that was for, maybe Brave or something along those lines. So they have a history here, but you can tell that it's not just, the money's moving in both directions. Like Hollywood's always been interested in going after new markets and new venues and getting, fresh money and old money. It doesn't matter as long as it can stay lucrative. So who knows? Like, it's going to be an interesting world. Like, maybe we move towards a Blade Runner society where it's future speak and it's like Chinese is part of the conversation when you're speaking English,
Yeah, it's like Firefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Or
much.
Alien, or like any massively successful sci-fi property. Look at the text on screen in the Matrix that the operators can read.
Yeah, there's some Asian lettering.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's Chinese specifically. It's probably a mixture of everything.
Yeah, but they just look at it like, oh, look at the code. Like, it's gonna, in the future, it's probably gonna be like that. In the same way where kids now in grade school have to take computer science classes, like, it's gonna be like, well, take Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese. It's your choice. Just pick one of them.
Yeah, I mean they at least offer that like in some high schools. I think like what language. The only options I had were like Spanish and French and Latin. I mean, yeah, Chinese is definitely one of them if it isn't already.
Probably. Last headline we got here. This is
Or Mandarin or Cantonese. Yeah, no, Chinese. Yeah,
it's an umbrella term.
Sound like an ass.
It's
there.
umbrella term, okay. Yeah.
Ignorant American.
Last headline here.
Damn it.
Netflix is going to start streaming content in HDR. They've already done 4K. It's mostly the original programming. They estimate that you should be able to buffer this content at 16 to 20 megabits per second. So if you have like standard cable internet or something along those lines, even if you have like a good 4G network, you should be able to do this on your phone. So this is going to be starting soon as the second season of Daredevil in just 2 weeks from now. And they also have 300 plus hours of 4K content just this year alone. So, I like talking about Ultra HD and HDR and how the time is now. I know you raised a red flag about the 4K Blu-rays actually being up converted from 2K masters, the site being shot on the 5K red.
Well, I mean, that's just a problem with DIs in general. Is like, yeah, even when the DCP makes theaters, sometimes you see like a theater saying, "Oh, we're projecting in 4K," but the DI is still like 2K, so it's up converted, and you can even see the freaking pixels, like depending on how clear your screen is. Like, I mean, it's usually, to me, it's usually obvious when they have the green band, and then there's the lettering, and then you can see some of the pixels on there, and it's really annoying. And although there are some like native 4K DIs out there, like I know Star Wars was one. I mean, the Revenant, that was a big thing for me, was I had to see that in a theater that was at least showing it in 4K, and like, yeah, holy shit, there really is a difference between an up-converted 2K DI and even like the Revenant was shot at 6K and it was scaled down, but yeah, that resolution was insane, honestly.
I'm pretty sure here, because Netflix is trying to be a pioneer for at-home 4K content, that they shoot native 4K, they render it at that, and that's why you can stream it at the same content. I would assume. Like I would hope that their workflow is that. Who knew?
Same thing. I think House of Cards was shot on the
second season,
like, Dragon, which is 6K, or they shot on the Epic, which was at least 5K. It
was one of the first 4K programs available in America. That second season.
Yeah, so they're already ahead of Ultra HD 4K Blu-rays, which you know what, that format is not gonna last long.
I don't know. Think. Like, I think it's gonna be the final medium. Like, besides those 5D discs we were talking about last week, which I did in fact tweet out. like 2 days ago on the Dollar Views account.
I still haven't read the article, but yeah, I mean, I guess another way of looking at it though is that this is the same exact thing with Blu-ray, where the first wave of
For
Blu-rays
shit.
were just SD
Yeah.
up converts. Yeah,
With no special
so
features. You know what I miss?
yeah, it wasn't. It was really like Disney that and Warner
What
Brothers that were
happened
like
to
their new releases at the time, like whatever just got out of theaters tended to be like sourced from the digital intermediate.
whatever
So
happened to Blu-ray Live, the BD Live? What happened to that?
it
I know,
died.
like
Like
that was a cool concept.
yeah,
I remember seeing the Blu-ray. It was either for 300 or it was Watchmen.
Dark Knight did
It
it.
was a Dark
Watchmen
Knight, where
did
it's
it.
like you could
Terminator Salvation
you
did
could
it. Yeah, there were live
crowdsource
commentaries and
commentaries,
stuff. It was
yeah,
cool.
and then directors themselves would make them too. So instead of just hearing it, you could see video, like picture in picture. It was a really cool concept. You'd think that would still exist, at least in like a streaming platform. We'll see, but
Well, the thing is, though, it wasn't user friendly.
because you had to
Like I
download
think I
it
had to like
before you could watch, it wasn't a streaming. Yeah,
I think I had to like sign into like several different
Yeah.
accounts. It's kind of like when you try using Ultraviolet for the first time and redeem copies. Like now, all I do is just use Voodoo to do it. But I mean, back then you had to like make 5 different accounts, like one through Flickster and then one through Paramount.
I
and
actually
it was really.
I did
mean,
that just yesterday. I
yeah.
bought a copy. I bought the Blu-ray of Forgetting Sarah Marshall on a whim, and I redeemed the Ultraviolet code, and it still worked despite saying that it expired in 2012. So pleasant surprise. So I'm gonna be using Voodoo to watch that when I am too lazy to stand up and put the Blu-ray in my
Nice.
machine. I got it for like $6. They had like a $2 off coupon. Whatever, different story.
Nice. Well, it's a
It's
great
a great
movie.
movie. Yeah, it's the unrated. It's the DVD Blu-ray combo, and it has unrated and theatrical cuts. So it was like $6. I was like, I can't not do this. I saw it at Walgreens, and I came back the next day to buy it. I was like, oh, it's even.
Well, there's a lot of good bonus material on there
Yeah,
too.
I know they have
I guess another
the
thing
whole,
though with
Dracula like play. Like, I've seen the special. I've like rented it before. It's one of those I need to buy it.
no, that's a fun audio commentary too. But I mean, as far as like BD Live, people do that like on, it's like with podcasting. They do it live on the internet on like TuneIn Radio or even Periscope. I think. I mean, and they just have people queue the stuff up on their own. I mean, it's not that hard to do. Or, I think there's maybe some other efficient ways of doing it, but I mean, content has been even released exclusively online, even when it's not live. So it even if it sounds like a lot of work, it tended to be more user friendly than whatever BD Live was doing, because that was a pain in the ass to log into.
Just one of those.
Especially like with like remotes are like you gotta like press the button, the arrows, and then type in a bunch of different keys, and like it just takes way too long.
Oh no, I hope with where we're going with Chromecast and Apple Play and those kind of things, that it's just going to be all bundled in. Speaking of, this was supposed to be a little bit later. Let's talk about it now. Google's trying its hand at making casting only TVs instead of manufacturing, a smart TV device such as their Android TV or their failed Nexus TV. They're partnering with Vizio to release sets that might rely entirely on just casting content, and even possibly coming with a tablet pre-installed with cast-ready apps such as Netflix and Amazon, etc. Instead of even having a remote at all, like it would just be like a universal remote, if you will. And this frees up production costs instead of having to have a computer inside your TV and making it smart. Like you just have the setup like Chromecast. It's a $40 dongle, at $35 actually. So this would be really cool. Like if Google can actually get this done, like there's a lot of speculation I'll be talking about in a second here because we're going to jump to VR. But I hope that this is a reality. Vizio, they've been a pioneer in HD televisions. As weird as that sounds to say, because they were originally like the cheapo brand that you get at Costco to save money, but now like
Well, they still kind of are. I mean, they're
it's not Samsung, it's not Sony, it's not yet LG, but in terms of what you pay, like you're getting a pretty good display. It's not shit.
Yeah.
It's just it's at a budget, which isn't bad because more people buy the cheaper things than people buy the expensive things. But they're supposed to be good. But anyway, talking about VR, always got to talk about on the show. Big events happening next month. March 15th, Sony's holding their PlayStation VR event during Game Developers Conference. They introduced Project Morpheus, which is what its codename was originally there 2 years ago. And so hopefully, they said last year that it was going to be released in the first half of this year. I'm expecting a release date on the 15th, a price point, games bundled in, the bundle, like the different bundles that will be available for consumers, a whole bunch of stuff. I want them to be everything. I'll be really pissed off if they say something like, this is it, this is what it is, price coming in a couple of weeks. Like, if they're doing the stage, if they're having the spotlight on them, I expect everything to be unearthed, because HTC, Oculus, everyone else, they've already shown all their cards. Like, everyone knows what that is. So Sony has to now to stay relevant.
Yeah, you don't want them to pull the
exactly.
Apple of whatever. Yeah.
So like I said, March 15th, I'll definitely be talking about that week. Very excited. A little bit less than a month now. Less than
2 weeks. Actually, not 3 weeks from now, we'll be talking about it.
Well, 2.5 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, no, because
it'll be Sunday, yeah. It'll be 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's why.
Might just jump the gun. Just like, this is a VR-only episode, guys.
You're just going to open up the dollar review show and be like, oh, and by the way...
Speaking of which, I totally forgot to put it on dollar reviews this week, but I, quote-unquote, rented Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. So bad. One of the worst games I've ever played. Just garbage.
I didn't even know there was a 5.
Yeah, it came out.
Did this just happen?
Yeah, it came out in August, and it was doomed from the start, and it's so bad. I got it for 4 days for free from work, and all my coworkers were like, "Why do you want this?" And I returned it. Another coworker was like, "Why did you take that out?" And everyone I've told that I played it, they're like, "What's wrong with you?" It was. I wanted a nostalgia trip just because, and I shouldn't have. I should have just stayed
Just play the original Tony Hawk. I mean, you at least have a PS3.
Yeah, but
right?
it's not like that. I wanted to see how bad this new version could be. I'd seen gameplay.
That's not nostalgia.
Well, it's the whole. It's Tony Hawk 5. Okay, that it was built to duplicate the original series and just be one of the next in the line. But anyway, this isn't dollar reviews.
Was it literally the same gameplay?
No, worse. It was like they basically, it's like they ignored Tony Hawk 3 and 4, and they just made a sequel to Tony Hawk 2 that doesn't play nearly as well. We're talking about a game that's 15 years old here, okay? It's not as good as that game. The soundtrack's not as good either. Just bad.
Well, that's the best soundtrack in any game ever.
Power Man 5000,
bro.
I
can't
Worlds collide.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. It sounds.
I'm ready to do what you wanna do, baby. Wasn't Papa Roach on that too? Rage Against the Machine. There's Wycliffe Jean.
Yeah,
oh man, it's a good CD. The best part about that game, because it was PlayStation, you could take that disc and put it in your CD player and just listen to it as a CD.
Yeah, no, I do that actually.
So cool.
Or I did that rather. I still have 2 copies of that game too. It was nice.
Yeah, staying on VR here, really cool. Staying on with video games, IBM Japan is making the world's first virtual reality MMO. It's going to be called a VR MMO, massively multiplayer online game. It's being made. It's a partnership between IBM Japan and Bandai Namco. They're going to be utilizing their Watson supercomputer tech, which is most famously present on Jeopardy, competing against Ken Jennings 6 years ago. It's still in commercials now. There was commercials during the Oscars about Watson. But this is happening next month, or I guess 2 days from now. There's going to be 208 alpha testers in the Tokyo metro area. They're going to have their bodies scanned and then put in the game. They're going to be testing this both on the Oculus Rift and the HTC Vive. It's an adaptation of Sword Art Online, which is a very successful and popular anime and video game series that's about virtual reality. The game's called Sword Art Online: The Beginning. I really wish I was in Japan, or more specifically Tokyo, to play this. It sounds like it's going to be awesome. Hopefully they can do it, because if this works, this is basically what Ready Player One is. Just I doubt it'll be as ubiquitous. Like, it'll just be a singular experience instead of something that takes over the world because it's so popular.
Yeah, no, I know you're excited. I'm just naturally trepidatious over this stuff for no real good
Well, you
reason.
haven't experienced it yet.
I don't know.
Like, I was talking with some
Yeah,
friends
exactly.
last night, and a couple of them in the room I saw Star Wars with, and I brought my Google Cardboard beforehand, and like showed them some experiences. And so we're talking. I was like, well, since then, I was like, I should have brought my Google Cardboard. We're all like drinking whiskey and vodka. And I was like, yeah, I should have brought it. Like, I could have showed you guys VR porn. They're like, what? Like, what the fuck is VR porn? What's the point? I was like, kind of explaining it, and we were like just drunk enough that we were having a good conversation. And it's one of those things where it's like, it sounds like a joke, and then you experience it. I'm like, oh. And I was telling him, I was like, this isn't some like fluke, like the New York Times, the Sports Illustrated. Hell, this week, Good Morning America had a live stream of African Safari in VR. So like it's crossing over.
How does that work?
You had to,
How did they do
like,
that?
I think on TV they had the content, and then you could go to the website and view it. I don't know. I didn't do it. It was like early, like 7 a.m. I was like, well, fuck that.
Just sync it at the same time?
Something like that. I'm not sure exactly. But the fact that someone that big, Good Morning America, is utilizing VR, it's proof that, or at least I hope that it's not just a trend. It's not just a fad, that this is going to be something that stays. And I assume a lot of companies are too, because there's a lot of people invested.
Well, no, I mean, that's actually a really smart way of doing it. Like, I imagine for their format, yeah, that sounds like something that I could totally see that working. I don't see that as a fad
Yeah,
at all.
I try to watch some like on the red carpet stuff during that in VR, and it was a horrible app that had drift. Like, remember I was telling you that I was like watching some stuff like months ago, and I felt like I was falling sideways while standing stationary. It was
Yeah.
like that, and that's what the review said, so I deleted the app before I got motion sick again. So they need to fix whatever the fuck that app was called. But, the big players, like I was talking about, Facebook, I totally skipped over this, or I didn't read it last week. But remember I was talking about Samsung's new phone and LG's new phone and, like, the Gear VR and whatever, all that Mobile World Conference, MWC. Well, Facebook was there, and they introduced something called dynamic streaming during the Gear VR press conference, and this is really cool. So the idea here is, like I said, it's dynamic streaming. So instead of having to let something buffer and be really high quality, because VR has to be like at least 2K to look decent, just based on how many pixels are in your array, and looking at something in like basic 360 degrees, like all the rendering that takes place. This dynamic rendering, or streaming rather, it utilizes multiple video files all at once to paint a scene, but it only displays full quality of what you're currently looking at. So they're hoping with this tech that it will allow VR streaming of 6K content in the near future, which would be amazing. And this isn't unprecedented. Like, Engadget pointed out that NVIDIA uses a similar technique for anti-aliasing 3D graphics without a huge performance hit.
Oh, fuck. Ow. Ow.
You okay?
Shit. I'm sorry. I just fucking had I think a butterfly just flew into my eye.
It's a good thing you wear glasses.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Continue.
But yeah, like, just the idea here is, there's a huge vista in front of you, but you're only looking at a tree right in front of you. You're not concerned about what's behind you or on your peripherals, just what's right in front of you. And so everything else is going to be shitty quality because it's not your focus. And what you are looking at looks pristine and amazing, and this way you're able to have it all going all at once. It's not a data hog. It's not intensive. Your CPU is not going to blow up because it's so much going on at once.
No, again, this stuff is moving crazy fast, and I have yet to experience it to begin with. But yeah, I'd imagine, like once just the resolution gets higher, it'll look more and more lifelike, which is kind of creepy and cool at the
Tony,
same time.
go to a Best Buy to check it out. You can probably go to like a T-Mobile store even. Currently, I don't know if it's just them. I saw it on the commercial tonight for the new Samsung Galaxy S7. If you pre-order that new phone, their new flagship, you get a free Gear VR as a pre-order incentive. So that's $100 just for.
From T-Mobile.
I don't know if it's just T-Mobile. I know for sure that they're doing it. It's probably all the major carriers. It's probably a Samsung deal. So I mean, if you're in the market for a new phone and you like Samsung, I'd look into this just so to get at the ground floor to like have a good entryway without having to really pay for it.
Well, I just signed a contract with my old ass phone, but that maybe I might have to break that soon.
Look into it, man. It's gonna be cool.
Or I'm sorry, not break it, drop it in the lake by accident,
or sell it on the black market,
which I am 10 paces away from right now.
Paces,
so,
you must be in Texas.
I might just mosey over, and I don't know. It's kind of dark. I might just trip. Who knows what could happen?
But yeah, look into this
after this call, of
or
course.
On the call, who knows? It'll sound like drowning. Final VR thing I got here. And definitely the best read I had this week. I shared this on Facebook. I didn't tweet it out. But I read this article on The Verge, and in it they predicted that Google is leveraging... Do you know what Project Tango is?
I do not.
So Google, about 2 years ago, showed off this new tech called Project Tango. And the idea here is you have a tablet. It has the camera that already has. There's another one on there, so it can have stereoscopic viewing. It has other sensors like proximity and whatnot. And so in real time, Project Tango is able to map environments, like 3D real-world environments, on the tablet, and it's able to do spatial recognition and just figure out what's around you. And so it has a lot of purposes. The way it's been introduced currently is... like for AR means, like you're at a pharmacy, and instead of having to ask someone that works there, like, oh, where's the flu medicine? You can take your phone out. There'll be arrows on the screen. They'll indicate where the product is, and then you can grab it. And this would work at a museum. This could work at a convenience store, a mall, a airport, whatever. Like it could hopefully be anywhere all the time. And so. This tech...
Sorry, keep going.
This tech is going to be in consumer devices this summer. Lenovo is the first person to partner with Google to have a Tango device. But in this article by The Verge, they are predicting that this technology is going to be used as a more concrete attempt at VR. Like instead of what they have with Cardboard, which is... just like a test or like a easy entry point into the technology, this would be their Oculus, their PlayStation VR, their HTC Vive, like their true attempt, their way of actually dominating the field. And so they also predict in this article that at this year's Google I/O, their annual developers conference, that this tech and this purpose is going to be baked into the next version of Android N. So I'm really excited about this. Like, it was a great read. I'll tweet it out. Some really good videos in there too, where there's like real world AR stuff and implications and like playing games. Like I said, the museums, like during Mobile World Conference just the past week, you could use this tablet at whatever museum it was in Spain, and instead of having like the audio guides at a museum, this was the tablet itself, and it could recognize sections of the pictures you were looking at, the portraits, and you could read about them or watch videos like on the fly, all naturally. It's like a great educational tool, and so it would be amazing. I can't explain it all. Like, this is something that you have to read in this article to really get a firm grasp.
Well, I can't really process it all either.
But basically, if this is true, if this is not just a theory that The Verge has, if this is, it definitely sounds like a possibility. And I was, singing for the choir here. It would be, whereas HTC and PlayStation and Oculus, you have this head-mounted display that you have to have tethered to a powerful computing device. Google
Hmm.
Cardboard and Gear VR, it's your smartphone, but it's not that great. This would be like the same level of immersion that Oculus Rift gives you in a mobile environment. So really interesting, really hopeful that this is the truth and not just drawing at straws. Either way, it's interesting to think about. Like I said, I'll be tweeting this
Yeah,
out. Really amazing
it's a
read.
lot to think about. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I shit, I'm gonna have to catch up like fairly soon. Like, I mean, there's really no choice for me but to do that at this point. I mean, because it's
So you should just like if you get it.
like this summer. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this stuff
Oh
will
yeah,
at least probably be more in the know,
oh
like
definitely.
within
No, not
just
even.
the average
Yeah, I think the
consumer.
average
Yeah.
consumer by the time of this summer, it will be the new thing. I think there's going to be commercials
Like
for
we'll
it.
at least
I
see.
think that
Yeah.
when there's going to be VR trailers for movies, definitely a lot of games are going to be coming out. I really think that like this is going to be the year of virtual reality, like where it is no longer just like, oh, that's something that if you have $1,000 you can buy. It's going to be like, no, anyone can get it.
Hmm.
Why don't you have
Yeah.
one? In the same way that smartwatches or fitness trackers are. It's if you want the tech, you can get it. It's accessible. It's available for everyone. Um, but moving to film, and this is a film about VR. I got news here. I'm really happy I didn't shave my beard because Ready Player One, that open casting call that was announced a month ago, it was a failure. Um, Spielberg and the casting directors weren't able to find anyone they liked to fit their leads. Uh, so Ty Sheridan is going to be starring in the film. He signed a deal earlier in the month until they could find someone the casting, which they didn't. So it's going to be him opposite Olivia Cook from Me and Earl, a Dying Girl, and the villain's going to be Ben Mendelsohn. So really good cast. Who knows when they're going to start shooting? Probably in a couple of months here.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I said, I'm happy I didn't shave just for the video. I did submit my email and I got the sides for the
Really?
for the test screening. But then I was like, well, this means I need to get a reading partner. This means I'm gonna have to get someone with a tripod and they have to record the thing. And who knows when that's gonna happen? It would have sucked if I did it. And and then I read this article, like I read the announcement. I would have been pissed. I'm like, I got a blank face now. I got no face pubes anymore. Would have sucked.
It took you how long? Like a year to get that?
I no, no, I
Six
haven't
months?
had. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been clean shaven in over 2 years now. Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, I did trim my facial hair earlier in the week. Like, I probably cut about half of it off, just making
Yeah.
it.
No, you grew that out like right after
Yeah,
graduation, huh?
yeah. It was like right after graduation. It's when I got a mullet, and then part of the territory was making the drapes match the curtains. So yeah, that was me, and that's Ready Player One. Really exciting. I mean, Spielberg at the Oscars. Every time the camera went to him, I was like, he's making that movie. He's making it.
Like as if he's got not enough great uh, works on his resume enough already, right? I mean, what the BFG comes out this summer, right?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
August, or maybe it's a little bit earlier than that.
and
I don't know about that one. I'm curious because is it live
I have
action or
not
is it
seen.
CG? Is it a mix?
I don't know. I think a trailer's out there, but I've not seen
Uh,
it yet. But I like the speed that he's working at. I mean, Ready Player One is supposed to come out next year, right?
well, I mean, yeah, it was going to be this Christmas, and,
Yeah.
now it's pushed.
But I mean, it's nice. We're getting one Spielberg movie every year
Which is good,
within
yeah. I
three
mean, there
years.
there
I
was
mean,
that time period
yeah,
where it was like, here's Catch Me If You Can. Now, what's the next movie? We gotta wait a little bit. Oh, here's Indiana Jones movie. Like it was sporadic at best, but yeah,
yeah,
now you can just tell. Like he has these things. He has something set up. It's not like, oh look, it's Warhorse.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's never well timed. I mean, usually he's working on stuff like
Decades at a
he's putting out
time.
2 movies in one year typically, which is really cool actually when he does that. I like how they even out, but yeah, it's nice that we're getting more stuff from him. I mean, even if it's miss, like yeah, Bridge of Spies was like that was a nice return to form for me.
So good. Like there
Yeah,
was jokes
I'm
during.
glad that that guy won the
Yeah,
Oscar
there's
too.
joke. Yeah, and he had such like just a class act, like his acceptance speech, like what he was saying about the other people in the category, and like you just like his is one of the speeches you got to look at on YouTube. Just like how graceful he was in his acceptance and what he's saying, and talking about Spielberg and the role. Um, Stoic man, but yeah, moving on. It's another week. It's another time to do calendar date announcements. 20th Century Fox is the one on the docket this time. So they moved some movies around. No surprise, their Gambit movie is not coming out this year anymore. It doesn't have an official new date, but they did make two unannounced Marvel projects. One of them is for October 2017, which is exactly a year that Slash Films pointed out from the original Gambit date. So pretty sure it's going to be it. And then the other one, which is also unannounced, is January 2018. Given the fact that Deadpool came out this January/February, that's probably going to be it. And it makes sense. Like, we've talked about this for several weeks as well. It's a running topic about January being the new R-rated like comic book / blockbuster thing, just because it
Yeah,
works.
no, I mean we've had two. We've had Kingsman and now
Yeah,
Deadpool.
and
So like that's the perfect time to
guess
do
what's
it.
this next January? Triple X3. So it's going to be the next in the trends.
And
Also Fox. Or no, that's not Fox. That's
it's gonna be R rate. Wait, it's gonna be R
yeah,
rated.
Triple X 3 is going to be R-rated.
Like they
Yeah, it's
confirmed
going to
that.
be January.
Oh, that's
I'm
okay.
pretty sure.
I mean, it's a PG-13 franchise, so that's
Or
interesting.
maybe it's still PG-13. I don't know. I have a feeling like it might be though. It's called. How weird is it that the franchise is
don't-
called Triple X and it's not R-rated? That just is like.
I mean, it's not really. It's over the top and pretty light. It's not meant to be like a hard R violent romp or anything. So
I'd like it if Vin Diesel's.
that'd be
just-
weird. I mean, I don't care. So I forgot. Yeah, but hey, if it is, then yeah, whatever. Really.
Whatever it is, it's going to be this upcoming January. And then they dated two other films over at 20th Century. The first of which is Alien Covenant. That date is August 4th, 2017. And then Shane Black's Predator reboot is coming March 2nd, 2018, which also got a character poster this week that I didn't check out because I want to save the surprise.
Oh man, why so late? God.
I don't know.
It's within like what 3 years since it was announced. Well, whatever. I'm hoping it's good. It's Shane
Exactly.
Black and it's Predator. I
mean,
really want
the fact
to like
that
it.
he was in Predator before he became a screenwriter is just pretty cool. It's one of those Hollywood factoids that's interesting.
Or no, I think that was that was the same year that Lethal Weapon came out, wasn't it?
I think Lethal
I
Weapon's
think
87, and I want to say the first Predator's like 80.
Yeah, Predator's
is it
87
as well. So yeah, then it would be the same.
Yeah. Actually, now that I think about it, Predator might be 80. Well, whatever.
Yeah,
It
I was
doesn't
gonna say
matter.
I'm pretty sure Predator's like 84 or 85.
No. It's definitely after 87. Yeah, I think it. God, I'm pretty sure it's 87. I'm looking it up right. Yeah, June 12th, 1987.
Interesting. So yeah, that same year Lethal Weapon
Yeah.
came
So
out.
that same summer. Yeah.
Pretty cool. One last date
Yep.
here. Birth of a Nation, the huge Sundance movie that sold for $20 million, also to Fox Searchlight. It's getting a national release on October 7th, so it's definitely being pegged as an Oscar contender. It's getting a premiere
Yep.
date. So we don't got to wait that much longer for this thing. It's only going to be 6 months or so, 7.
Well, yeah, no, it's not going to be April like you were
It
guessing.
could have been.
Like, this gives them plenty of time to. It could have if they wanted to rush it out, but no. Like this gives them plenty of time to market it for the Oscar season. So, I mean, yeah, good for them. It's gotten so much praise and so much attention that yeah, I want to see it when the time
Next
comes.
year, I'm telling you, it's going to be Oscars So Black. So I got some director's news here. Sam Raimi, he's getting back up in the saddle. I mean, he directed the pilot for Ash vs. Evil Dead, which I was a fan of. But his next movie is going to be titled World War III. It's going to be at Warner Brothers. It's an adaptation of George Friedman's nonfiction best-selling novel, The Next 100 Years: A Forecast for the 21st Century. I don't know anything about it. I think it's just prophesizing what kind of like situation is going to happen with China and the internet and who knows what else. But Sam Raimi, he hasn't directed anything since Oz the Great and Powerful, which wasn't his best film. And maybe that was just.
Oh, maybe not. I mean, I had fun with it, but I mean, at the same time, like, it's funny. I just thinking about it now. Like, he has a very, very broad body of work. Like, just as far as genre. Which I forget that. Like,
he has like 4 horror films. He made Darkman and then 3 Spider-Man films. He has his family stuff.
He made a western. He made a crime
baseball
film.
movie.
There was a Simple Plan.
The Gift, obviously,
which I haven't
is a
seen.
Supernatural thriller. You can hear our episode on Death to Cinema.
Yeah, Oz is the fantasy film. Just a ton of
Coen
stuff.
brother collaborations. So yeah, he's done a lot. Like he wrote Hudsucker Proxy, So
I did not know that.
Like he what was it? He made a film called.
I thought it was just the Coen brothers.
They directed that and he wrote it, and then they wrote Crime Wave and he directed it. That was a couple of years. That's like I think it's his second film after The Evil Dead. It was like 83 or 82, something like that.
I mean, either way, like with a title like World War III, I mean that just immediately gets attention. I mean, so I'm on board for like I hope it doesn't look like shit.
I doubt
it,
mean,
but it sounds interesting.
I just hope Bruce Campbell has a character in it, that Annie Elfman does the score, and then
it probably will.
And then anything else, it's fair game. J.K. Simmons, that'd be awesome. Like, you can't lose when it's a Sam Raimi movie. Even if it's bad, it's still watchable. Like that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of which, you still have to see Darkman. I can't believe you haven't seen that.
I know.
Liam Neeson starring in a superhero movie.
I know.
Doesn't get better.
I know.
Like I said, other directors, Ava DuVernay, who we were talking about earlier in the show. We were speculation a couple of weeks ago. We were talking, she might be doing the Amblin movie about the aliens and Lupita Nyong'o. That's not happening, or it might still. But she signed on with Disney to direct A Wrinkle in Time. It's an adaptation of the 1963 award-winning coming-of-age novel about exploring a fifth dimension. I'm sure it's going to have a female protagonist. It's probably going to be something along the lines of Tomorrowland, just from the
Well, I think so. I mean, I think there was a mini-series of this like years back.
Maybe.
Like at some point last decade. Maybe it was like 15 years ago. Yeah, but I mean it. I know this is a popular series, and I just can't remember a damn thing about it. But I mean, I know that it. I know that I am interested in it. I'm pretty sure anyway, based on. I think trailers for the miniseries, at least, they got my attention as a kid.
I'm just curious to see what kind of movie she makes with the major studio, because she never has. Selma's independent production, all of her stuff before that were as well. To see what it's like when she's working for the man, especially because.
I mean, yeah, she hasn't gotten that much attention really for her work other than Selma, and like, I mean, let's face it, really the only reason that she does get that much attention is because she is a minority director in several ways. But I mean, she is talented. Like I'm still curious to check out Selma just after all the fucking Oscar talk being taken out, and just to judge that movie based on its own
I'm telling you, you should see This Is the Life, her documentary from 2008 about the tribal cafe hip hop movement in LA in the late 80s, early 90s. Like I said, I saw that before I knew who she was. This is years and years ago during college, before Selma was even a thing, and I really loved the documentary. And then when I found out, in retrospect, I'm like, oh, that was her? Like, yeah, I was really shocked. So yeah, hopefully, this is a good movie.
She's come a long way. But I mean, unless it's available on Amazon, it might go back on that disc queue from Netflix pretty soon.
Who knows? I
should be set up with that again.
2 more directors here. Well, 3 actually. Stephen S. DeKnight, best known as being the showrunner on Daredevil and Spartacus for Starz. He's directing Pacific Rim 2. It's been confirmed. I think that Guillermo del Toro is going to stay on as probably an executive producer. He's probably helping writing the script, working with concepts and whatnot. So this is good news. I mean, I don't know if it's Universal going forward. It might just be Legendary, getting back in some way or distribution through Universal. Like I said, I don't know
Hmm.
exactly. It's still early days here,
Well, it'll probably have the Universal logo on there no matter what.
but really exciting. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of that movie, but they definitely set up a world and tech and characters that were interesting enough that I want to see where it goes when it gets bonkers. Like if they
And
actually,
another thing, I think I just feel like, first off, I just don't feel the sequel is necessary, like, because then it would negate the entire ending of the first film. I mean, that's just my take on it. But if it happens, then it's not like serious entertainment that where you can get heartbroken over that. But honestly, I am a little bummed just because what is the appeal of seeing a Pacific Rim sequel unless Guillermo del Toro makes it? I mean, that's his world, so there's just something that just seems really weird to
well, I
not
mean, he himself
see
broke
that.
the news about this on Twitter, so
Yeah, yeah, and I know it's probably his
yeah.
choice. It's because
I
he's
don't know if
busy working on
I'm not
other
sure if
stuff.
that's what it
But
is. I mean, he has his name on a lot of things, mostly in some kind of show running or producer capacity. Like scary.
yeah, he works hard to get a lot of
Definitely.
stuff made.
And so, I
Yeah.
said this months and months and months ago now. I still want to see the Pacific Rim versus Godzilla versus King Kong movie.
And I'm with
That'd
you
be
on
so
that.
cool.
I'm pretty sure we both
I'm
exclaimed about
sure
that.
there's gonna be some kind of pointer here or there in the sequel that, you know, proposes as the same universe. But I want to see what it's like on the other side of the rift. Like I want them to go through the portal and be in the kaiju dimension. Like that'd be really cool.
Which happened in
Not
the
really
last
though.
film.
Okay, I'm saying
That was at the
I'm
end,
I'm
yeah.
saying like fully into it. Like half the movie takes place there, and it's like a H.P. Lovecraft movie, like mountains, like the stuff at the end of Cabin in the Woods. Like just goes completely
Yeah,
bonkers,
sure.
100% genre, just like wow type of stuff.
I mean, I'm sure that they'll find a trick to make it work so that it doesn't like completely negate the entire first film. I mean, that's just the main thing with me is like it just seems like with the way that it ends, like yeah, okay, that's closure for a fun monster movie. But then I guess for movies of this type that have sequels, then yeah, they always find a reason to bring it back.
I hope they
So
bring back Charlie Day.
I don't know.
That's what I hope.
It's kind of a stupid complaint. Yeah, they probably will.
It's not like he's acting a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah.
Um, we are talking earlier about James Mangold and Wolverine. He's been tapped by Disney. He's going to be making Captain Nemo for them. Name sounds familiar. It's the captain of the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under Sea. It's interesting because, Bryan Singer, he has an adaptation of the same Jules Verne novel at Fox. The idea here, though, is that Disney is making an original take on the story, or the character anyway. So if they're out at the same time, who knows if they're going to be competition. It should be interesting. I don't know exactly what Disney's going to be doing here. Then again, it's not their first time doing this. They had the Kurt Russell, not Kurt Russell, I mean Kirk Douglas, 20,000 Leagues
Kirk,
movie
yeah.
in, like, what was it, like 52 or something like that?
It was definitely the 1950s, but yeah, I mean, it's just another one of the things where they're reviving old classics. Although in this case, yeah, it's live action. Although there's also continuing Mary Poppins.
That's the next news item, actually, in fact. Yeah,
That is, yeah.
like,
Which I'm sure that you're excited
no,
about.
not
I know
really.
that.
I mean, the news broke out about this. We were talking about last week, like, oh, like Emily Blunt is going to be the new Mary Poppins. There's a lot more info. It's set 20 years after the first film, so this is going to be in the mid 80s. And it's about the kids having dealt with the nanny's absence and what they're doing now. Rob Marshall's directing it. Lin-Manuel Miranda, best known for doing Hamilton currently on Broadway, is co-starring, and also I would assume be working on choreography or some kind of music. He's already in bed with Disney too. He's doing the music for the Rock's movie Moana, and he also did some of the Cantina stuff with J.J. Abrams on Episode 7. So he has a working relationship with Disney. I don't know what to think about this. I'm not the biggest fan of Rob Marshall. It's like, sure, I like
Well, I mean,
Chicago,
you
but
know,
who doesn't?
I think he's a solid director. I mean, you know, especially for musicals. Like I thought, Chicago's good. I thought Into the Woods was okay, but
Nine's supposed to be like the worst thing ever
I
made.
well, because why the fuck would you make a musical of someone's personal neo-realist Italian flick? Like that's the stupidest idea ever. Why would
Because
you do that?
when you know
But
when what's his name? When fuck, I'm losing names here. Thank
Daniel
you. Yeah, when
Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis signs on to do something, you make the movie because you'd be stupid not to.
Okay, I don't know. Probably, maybe it was one of those things where it was fun for the actors, but I mean, you know, yeah, the guy can choreograph a musical scene. I mean, you know, it's not like sequences in Into the Woods were necessarily bad. Like my only problem with the movie was just
Yeah.
the abrupt shift
The
in tone and
the
how it
false
didn't really
ending.
mix well together. And yeah, and it just seemed like something that translated better in a theatrical play, which is what I've been told. Like it because at least you got the intermission there, or you got time to build up to that. But I still have yet to see Mary Poppins, so
It gives you
you know
reason
I'm
to.
not this. Well, I guess yeah. Well, eventually there might be a debt to cinema,
Eh.
and you know I like still discovering old Disney classics that I've yet to see.
I mean, I think
but
you'll like it just for the fact that it's like the first film to do cross between live action and animation. And it's Julie Andrews, and they're memorable and classic
no, that's been
songs.
done way back in like the
But
20s.
I mean, this is in
Well, first
color, and
feature
it's
film, I
a
guess.
huge feature with Dick Van Dyke starring in it. Like they had,
Wasn't Song of the South before Mary Poppins?
yeah, but I think the difference there is that was a like anthology type film, and this is just a straightforward feature, and it was an adaptation of a best-selling series. I mean,
No, Song of the South was a straightforward
was it?
feature.
I thought there's
Yeah.
like several different stories that happen in like three different escapades or something like that.
I'm pretty sure. No, it's a straightforward movie.
Anyway, I mean,
Well, I didn't see it because I can't get it because Disney.
Yeah, they'll
well,
never
there are
release it,
ways,
yeah.
I'm sure. It's probably on YouTube. Yeah.
but like, did you see was it Saving Mr. Banks?
Yeah. Yeah.
How
that's a
did you
good movie.
see that, but you've never seen Mary Poppins? The whole appeal for that movie was Disney fans being able to know the story about how Mary Poppins was made.
Well, first off, I didn't know that it was about that until I sat down and saw the actual movie. I just knew it as the movie that was about Tom Hanks playing Walt
That's
Disney.
fair.
And I mean, then I found that out. But it's not like they really heavily spoil
A
Mary
little bit.
Poppins in it
I
or
mean,
anything. Maybe a little bit, but I mean, I honestly, I saw that movie so long ago. Like it's been 2 years
Yeah.
since it came out that I don't remember right now.
I mean,
what
a big
happens.
payoff in that movie is when they're creating the songs for the actual Mary Poppins, and so that payoff was probably
Well, yeah,
lost on
Super
you.
California.
You say Super California?
Well, Super California, but I can't. What is it? Like, I can't say the
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
word. Okay, yeah, but everyone knows that. I mean,
I have the
fucking,
sheet music for
you know,
it.
at least I grew up with Disney sing-along song tapes because that was stuff that I was watching. I was learning English with, so I mean, I at least know some of those numbers, or I
I
recognize
mean, that's not the one
them,
I'm talking
but,
about, though. There's a scene in Mr. Banks where they're playing "Let's Go Fly a Kite," and it was like a really, really
Yeah.
emotional scene in that movie. But more so because of the song and that I was familiar with it, and the scene for which the film itself, the actual film Mary Poppins, and its importance in it. But yeah.
Well, I mean, if I saw like a trailer for Mary Poppins, I'm sure like the stuff that they talk about in Saving Mr. Banks, it's not like it. I couldn't find it in there. You know, Saving Mr. Banks was about something else completely different.
The
so
weirdest-
I remember different scenes out of that. It's not like they spoiled Mary Poppins for me, or at least I
The
don't feel
weirdest
like
thing
it.
about that movie is, the title has to do with this Mr. Banks character, and despite how good Colin Farrell is in that film, he wasn't a part of the marketing at all. So that must have been really weird as a film goer.
It's not like
It's pretty
that-
deep stuff.
that's not unheard of.
I'm just saying, like,
but,
he's
I mean,
the title character, and
And also, but it has something else to do when what Saving Mr. Banks really means. I guess I don't want to spoil it on here, but I don't think it has to do with well, it's got more to do with like preserving
the memory,
the guy's legacy.
Well,
Yeah,
legacy is a strong word,
or at least not insulting it, which is a big part of it.
Final director news I got here. Also Disney. Well, not director, but final. I messed up that segue. Talking about Disney and Disneyland, the writers behind Meet the Fockers and Marmaduke are adapting It's a Small World. So yay, there's yet another theme park attraction that's making a movie.
All right. Good. So they get to work on the most boring, repetitious ride of all time, because that's. I'm messing up this joke here, but you know.
Yeah,
what I'm
the fucking
getting
ride
at.
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Meet the Fockers, I heard was bad.
You haven't seen that one?
I saw like bits of Marmaduke when I was on break working at a movie theater, but yeah, whatever.
It can't.
I don't know what story is there.
It's gonna be like Tomorrowland or the Haunted Mansion, and it's not like, we've talked about this before. They got lucky with Parts of the Caribbean. They made one good movie, and then they made it into a franchise. We got another one coming this year. I think it's May. And they're trying to make Lightning Strike twice.
It's next year.
Oh yeah,
actually,
they
I
moved it.
think.
Yeah, it's next summer. No, it's March.
Yeah, we haven't seen any
Next
trailers,
March.
so. Yeah.
But yeah, they're trying to make Lightning Strike twice, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. Guillermo del Toro one time was working on a Haunted Mansion reboot. They got this. Tomorrowland was obviously a flop.
Well, I don't know if Tomorrowland would have been a franchise.
Could have been.
I guess based on how that movie ended, but I don't know how you would have continued it. And I don't know. I feel like it's different though, because that movie's trying to go for so much more than
I've said this before.
than what you would expect. But I don't know what It's a Small World.
Said this
would
before.
be
I'll say
at
it again.
all.
I'm waiting for that Jon Favreau Animal Kingdom movie. I'm waiting for the Magic Kingdom crossover film. Could be good.
All right, get on the line with Disney.
Hopefully, if this Jungle Book movie does well,
hit up the Favs
It'll
on
just
Twitter,
be-
man. He's on Twitter. I know
it'll
you
be
follow
his
him.
next.
I know
He's
you
not
follow
very
him.
active. Okay,
Just hit him up.
But hopefully, if the Jungle Book does well, Disney goes, yeah, that movie we hinted at like 6 years ago, it's going forward, guys. Let's cross our fingers. Everyone go see the Jungle Book just in case this is gonna happen, just for me. I'll buy a ticket. I'll just throw the ticket away. I won't go see it.
Are you going to go see
No.
that in theaters?
I mean, it has a good voice cast, but I'm
No.
not the biggest fan of the Jungle Book. That I don't necessarily want to see the live action version, and I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen
I
any
mean,
of their live action remakes.
No, I mean, I saw a trailer for it today.
It doesn't look
Right
bad.
before Star Wars. Even then, I'm still like, I'm not terribly excited about Jungle Book, and I've never been attached to that story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine movie, but I don't know, just there's really nothing there for me aside from one amazing villain. But
Sure, God.
yeah,
Who's
no,
Idris Elba?
It's Idris Elba,
Man,
and
that's
yeah,
cool.
I like Idris Elba, but he's not going to top that original voice. Like just the badassery of Shere Khan, just that like real fucking. Oh man, that like those scenes are so good in that movie.
We'll see. We'll see what kind of reception that film gets. Here's something weird. MGM, they've decided to remake the Thomas Crown Affair again around Michael B. Jordan. It was apparently his idea, and they're trying to please him. He obviously was a big success for Creed. That sequel's happening. They probably want to keep him at the studio as long as possible because they need as many hits as they can get. I don't know if this is a good idea. Have you seen either of the previous Thomas Crown Affairs?
Nope. So I have no idea whatsoever.
they made
I guess the story's good enough that they remade it.
I mean,
once,
that Pierce
so.
Brosnan one's not that good though. It came out like '99. I think it was after The World's Not Enough, and it was like, oh, let's make this. I haven't seen the Steve McQueen movie from the '60s, but it's about like a art thief who falls for someone who's trying to catch him. Kind of like To Catch a Thief. Now that I think about it, the Hitchcock movie.
Kind of, yeah.
Except not as suave. It's not Cary Grant and who was the lead in that? Was it Doris Day? I want to say it was.
No.
Tippy Hedren?
I'm blanking out.
Was it Tippy Hedren?
I'm blanking on her name. God,
It was a blonde, so
God, the girl that's in Shit, the girl that's in Rear Window, I think. Gene Kelly.
Gene Kelly's a guy.
No, 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 no. Fuck. Wait, is that? No, no. Fuck. God damn it. What is it?
Like,
You know who I'm talking about, right? She's in fucking High Noon. God damn it.
isn't that Doris? No, it's not Doris Day. It's
No, no, no. Fuck.
I'm gonna
God
cheat on
damn
this
it.
one.
I can't. Shit. Grace
Yeah,
Kelly.
there you
God
go.
damn
There
it.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Gene Kelly's definitely
Fuck.
not
Like,
right.
yeah. The hottest Hitchcock blonde, and I fucking forget her name. Gene
Of
Kelly. God
Monaco,
damn
she
it.
became
Well, it starts with a
she
G.
became
So
royalty. That's the coolest thing about her. Very
yeah.
cool. I mean, Aubrey Hepburn did too, though. So, if you're a good actress.
No, I'd go with
I'm
Grace
just
Kelly.
saying, like they both
I mean,
became
God,
royalty.
so fucking.
Like to be famous in classical Hollywood's heyday, obviously was unparalleled
Mhm.
even by today's standards.
Nah, man, she was gorgeous in the 50s.
A couple things here, and then we'll jump over to TV. Show's coming to a close very soon. Waze, the navigation app owned by Google, as a brilliant piece of marketing for London Has Fallen, they made Morgan Freeman's voice available as part of their turn-by-turn guidance. I didn't.
So someone took the best idea
Yes.
ever and just figured, yeah, that makes sense to make money off
for
of it.
for marketing purposes for a shitty sequel to a bad movie.
Mm-hmm. I like Olympus Has Fallen.
I
It's
didn't.
fun.
I didn't see it, and I also didn't see White House Down. I avoided both of those. So I'm better than that.
No, it's fun. It's got they're both. I like both actually for different reasons.
Same movie.
Like, Olympus Has Fallen is actually a pretty fun Die Hard movie, except it has some really shitty CGI.
And the hero's
though.
British, which
Like really,
doesn't
really
make sense.
shitty.
It's like why is
Like
a
that-
British
that's the
guy
only-
saving the
that's the only-
president exactly?
Well, he's American in the movie. He's Scottish in real life.
Wait, does he do an American accent?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's American. I don't know. I only saw the movie once.
Like
It
I
was
saw
fun,
the
though.
trailer for this sequel, and I'm pretty sure he sounded like his everyday voice. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying close attention. But anyway, this is fucking cool. I don't know if it still exists. It could have been a limited time thing. I hope not. I hope it's a permanent addition to Waze app. I don't use the app personally. I just use Google Maps. Same tech anyway.
I mean, Morgan Freeman himself would make so much money if he just.
Do you
did that,
remember when
too.
Snoop Dogg was voice for Tom Tom?
I
No.
do not, but that sounds
Yeah, and
hilarious.
you could
Yeah.
get Mario Kart to replace Mario in a cart to replace your car on their GPS too, like early day GPS technology. Very cool stuff. So like I said, almost TV. I got some numbers here, kind of important. A24, who had some big success this year, they've had their line of credit increase from 50 million to 125. So that's almost 3 times as much money available for productions. And obviously this is as a result of, Amy, Room, and Ex Machina not only being nominated for Oscars, but all 3 of them actually won at this ceremony. So that only gives more credence to why they need extra cash to make more features.
Well, that and also, even though The Witch is not huge
it's-
or anything,
it's-
did not have a big drop over the weekend, so it's doing pretty well on its wide release for a movie that had a fairly limited marketing budget. I mean, I didn't see it advertised as big as normal Hollywood fare that gets wide releases.
It's probably
so-
also by
Yeah.
the luck of Deadpool. If Deadpool wasn't such a monster, someone would have. When you have a horror film and there's almost never 2 out at the same time, people that are into that kind of genre are gonna gravitate to the material, especially when there's already something so big that they've probably seen it anyway.
Mhm.
Very lucky. More interesting numbers, and this is a perfect segue for TV. Amazon, we reported last week that they bought Woody Allen's next movie. They paid $15 million for the thing. To put that in perspective, his most recent film that came out last summer, An Irrational Man, it only grossed 4.
Well, okay, but you're going by theatrical release there. I mean, keep in mind this is Amazon. Like, I'm sure that they're looking at longevity here. It might not be a huge moneymaker in theaters, but they know that they're going to get the streams
I
where it
don't think so.
counts. I mean, Chirac was not that huge,
I
so.
don't.
But I mean, look at how many people just fucking watched it on
I
Prime.
thought I'm pretty sure that, like I said last week, they were lucky enough to land him for a TV gig, and they are more concerned about big name talent than the material itself. And they have so much money that they're willing to throw it at anything to make it stick. Um,
I think if Beast of No Nation was able to get, what was it, like 33 million streams on its first weekend, and if Amazon markets it well, they can throw the Woody Allen name and get a ton of attention. I'm sure that they could, like, at least get the streams that they need to make the money back. Although I don't know how it's weird how their
I
strategy
don't
has
know.
been lately with movies. Like, I don't know if they're going to put this in
No, yeah,
theaters or.
it's like I said last week. It's going to have the same Chirac thing. It's going to be released in theaters
No.
pretty wide. Then it's going to be on VOD earlier than actual studios do it. Then it's going to be on Prime like a month after that. Uh, but, I'm a Woody Allen fan.
Well,
Since Midnight in Paris, he hasn't made anything good. So
uh, I mean, I didn't think. God, what was it? The one with Kate
Blue
Blanchett. I didn't think it
Jasmine.
was bad. I just hated the
Yeah, I
character.
wasn't a fan. I liked
which is pretty much
I
the
liked
point.
Andrew
Yeah.
Dice's Clay's character in that. To be honest, I thought he was the best part. Him and what's her name from Happy Go Lucky,
Sally
Jenkins. Yeah.
Jenkins.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Okay. I was
that's the thing
hesitating
though.
there.
Like Woody Allen, his films have always had good performances. They always have good characters. The difference is if it has a good story or not, or if the film's just good in general. And I didn't feel that way about Blue Jasmine. I almost forgot it even existed. It was the fact that Kate Blanchett got an Oscar for it. Um,
Well, who knows if this is like, if this is them being confident in the quality of the movie itself, but I really don't see this as like a loss when you bring up 4 million made off of Irrational Man. Like, I'm pretty sure they know that they can get some longevity here. Like, they're looking past just the theatrical window, and they'll make their money back just through streams
well, I mean,
alone.
outside of streams, they'll make their money back by selling shit. And speaking of, like I said, this is a good segue for their TV news. They just picked up the third season of a show called The Fashion Fund. It's originally an Ovation program. It's a reality show. This is where things get different. It's gonna stream for free through Amazon with ads. It's gonna be an episode every Thursday, and the program follows a 4-month competition where designers vie for Vogue's $400,000 prize from the Fashion Fund. This comes right after them releasing their own fashion line. Like, they sell clothes and they sell goods. They sell, like, Amazon basic, like, branded electronics, and obviously have the Kindle and things like that, Fire TV. So, yeah, they've entered the actual clothing game, and they have their own fashion line. So this is, like, a perfect match for this. It's interesting that they're making, like, a public show. Like, anyone can watch this. It just has ads. So I don't know how that's going to work.
No, they're just going the Hulu route.
I don't know.
I
Like,
mean,
I wonder if you have Prime, if you have to sit through the ads for this show. Like
it's probably, I don't know, for this show, maybe maybe the intended audience doesn't have Prime, and that's why they need to make it easier for them to access it. But
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, this doesn't sound at all like a thing that I would watch.
No,
I
me
mean,
either.
or I'm sure you. Yeah, I don't know. If I have to guess, it's mainly just that they want it to be more easily accessible. But because I don't know who has Prime. I mean, I assume that everybody does, just because it's kind of an easy service to get sucked
this
into,
show,
regardless of whether you're a cinephile or you're big on watching TV. Like, people that get it just for the packaging, probably they don't even know that they have the streaming service.
this show is for people, that are into Project Runway and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if they're producing themselves. I mean, it was already on TV. Like, that we'll see. I doubt I'll even check it out. Like, they had that new new show on Amazon Prime right now about like the New Yorker or whatever. Like they put out so much content, just like Netflix, that it's kind of hard to keep track of everything. We try anyway. Here's a
Yeah.
new one that's gonna pilot. This sounds amazing. I need to check this out. It better get picked up. Uh, the show is called. Well, let me backtrack. It's about Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it's about him being a spy who uses his celebrity persona as his cover. It's written by the guy who wrote the first Expendables film. It's executive produced by Ridley Scott, and it's being directed by the Key and Peele regular, who's also filming their Keanu movie. So yeah, this show is called John Claude Johnson, and it's like a reimagined version of Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, or something like that. Oh, that's what it is. He's like, while being undercover as this actor, he's currently filming the Huckleberry Finn adaptation. I don't know. It sounds so bonkers that it has to be good.
I hate to be the dissent on this one because it is funny, but how do I put this? It's like, imagine if they take one of the fake movie trailers from Tropic Thunder and they made a
Sounds
movie
good.
out of that. No, not really. I mean, it's like it's funny as a joke for like 2 minutes, but
I'd
would you
watch
want
Simplejack,
like
yeah.
an hour and a half of it, or let alone an entire series? I mean, who knows if it'll be able to keep the laughs going consistently, or if it's just going to be a one joke the whole
I mean,
time.
this show,
I mean, that's the thing.
it's
Like,
a pilot for a reason.
I don't know.
I mean, this isn't getting the full order. This is, it's going to be in pilot season. Who knows? Either next season or the season after that.
All right.
But I think I read something, like I don't have it in my notes here, but that they're going to have other celebrities, other actors who are going to be doing the same thing. It's like, they have like this spy agency, and they too use their celebrity as their cover. I don't know. It sounds. Did you see JCVD?
Yeah. That movie's
so
awesome.
I mean that's a similar kind of setup, except it's not over the.
Well, no, this sounds a bit
this is
more.
a little bit more over the top. Like this is taking more advantage of that meta nature and stuff like that. But like I remember, there's that sequence in that film where like he's like in the action set piece, or he's like in a courtroom or something, and then he's like craned up through the ceiling, and he has like he just does.
He's got like the 8-minute long.
Yeah, he just has that monologue,
which is kind of a criticism
and
on
then
the industry
he
just
he
fame in
drops
general.
back down in the courtroom. The scene continues. So like this is definitely in the same kind of realm of Jean-Claude Van Damme trying to make stuff that's not just about him doing the splits,
Well, I don't know. I mean, JCVD, like to some extent, as insane as that movie is, like there is some part of it where you can take it seriously. This just sounds like a joke.
I like jokes though, if they're good.
Tonally.
That's-
Yeah, but I mean that's my worry, is that hopefully it's a joke where that can be fresh and not repeat itself constantly. I mean, this really sounds like an awesome fake trailer. Another perfect comparison is, hey, Machete, I like the fake trailer, but then when you like make a long movie of it, like there's a couple fun things in there, but it really wasn't necessary to get the full movie.
Machete Kills was a little better, but yeah, I agree with that.
Machete Kills.
Wouldn't
is a
you
little
pay
better.
to see Don't though, or Thanksgiving, or Werewolf Women of the SS?
Well, first off, what the hell would Don't
I don't
be
fucking
about?
care. I'd pay to see it though.
Like exactly, it would just be probably a mess. Werewolf Women of the SS. It probably would be a Rob Zombie movie, and I don't know, who knows. Like I only like one
Which
of his
one?
movies, so Devil's
Yeah, I think it's the
Rejects.
one everyone likes. It's the most, despite
Yeah.
the subject matter, it's the most accessible.
Well, yeah, it's the most interesting one, I guess. Like there's just something that I hesitate to say hypnotic while talking about a Rob Zombie film, but there's just something weirdly appealing about that movie.
Living Dead Girl.
It's partly like there's a great soundtrack too. I mean, that's the best use of Freebird in any movie ever.
Couple last things here. One actual network thing, which we never talk about. You remember that DC Comics workplace comedy that's happening at NBC, Powerless?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they've
Yeah.
announced their cast for the pilot. Vanessa Hudgens stars. Danny Pudi and Alan Tudyk are going to be, supporting roles. They have a good cast. Sounds interesting.
Well, sounds like it'll be
Yeah,
funny. I mean, yeah, Danny Pudi and Alan Tudyk, those are two guys that you get when you want to be
exactly.
funny.
So, I mean, I'm for this. I've never necessarily been a fan of Vanessa Hudgens like films or anything, but I think she has talent. Like, she wasn't
Yeah.
bad in Spring Breakers. That's just not a good movie. It wasn't her fault. Um,
Well, it's just she's never gotten my attention to anything. I just know her as that one chick that's in High School
yeah,
Musical, and I don't even know. I have no idea what she looks like right now. Like if you showed me a picture, I don't know. She would probably be indistinguishable from somebody else to
maybe I
me.
don't know. I definitely know what she looks like. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, I don't know. I've not seen like the star making thing.
well, we're gonna end the show with some Netflix news here. Three things. The first one's kind of big. They cast their next a Marvel character, the Iron Fist. It's the guy that plays Loras Tyrell on Game of Thrones, aka what's he, the Knight of Roses. You know, the Gay
Uh,
Knight, the one that
I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if
you
I'm
should
that
be.
far
This is
ahead.
like season 3.
Well,
Whatever. He's
okay, yeah,
the
no, I think I know who you're
what is
talking
it? He
about
was
now.
who was it? It's Baratheon. The second Baratheon's gay lover.
I forget the guy that has to marry the chick and doesn't want to do it, right?
Yes. This is
Yeah,
Cersei's
okay.
the person that Cersei's been matched with. Yeah, so he's
Gotcha.
gonna be Iron Fist in their Netflix show, and then also be in their Defenders crossover whenever that happens. So I guess that's cool. I don't know. I don't. Is he gonna have a British accent? Is it gonna be good? I mean, that Daredevil and Jessica Jones are good. We'll see this next Daredevil season in a couple of weeks here. But
I mean, I don't know anything about this character, but the most passionate rants that I heard were, "Why is there a white guy playing
yeah,
this role
it's
when
funny.
it's the perfect opportunity to
It's
cast
funny
an
because
Asian
he's
guy."
white in the comics. The guy's name is like Danny
Okay.
Wade or some shit like that.
Well, I guess that's why the rant
Yeah.
didn't get
No,
that
yeah,
much
this was
traction,
stupid
but
people on the internet
yeah.
being stupid. Like, Max Landis was getting mad at them, like, do you guys even read Marvel, or are you just pretending to be a fan because his name's Iron Fist? Um,
Oh, I guess that's another way of
yeah.
being racist or
Yeah, you're
stereotyping
stereotyping
right
some
there.
guy who's a kung fu master must be Asian. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't get. You can't be happy either way. At the same time, though, it would have been cool, I guess, to have more
Yeah, I mean,
diversity there. Marvel's so
I
white.
was under the assumption that he was a Asian character. I mean, at least they got Falcon, and
Yeah, but Falcon's a
well,
sidekick.
not really. I mean, the comic Captain America dies and becomes Captain America, and given the fact that Chris Evans in the not too distant past said that he wanted to stop making Marvel movies, I would be surprised if at the end of Civil War he dies or something along those lines. That would be really cool. Imagine Falcon being the star of the next Captain America movie.
I, I still think he would probably be. I'm sure he'll be in Infinity
Who
Wars,
knows?
right?
Who knows? Like, I
Right?
mean,
God damn it, I don't know, but I'm really looking forward to Civil War more so than
well,
Batman
you've already
versus
seen Batman
Superman.
vs Superman, so understandably so. Um,
Sort of.
for the most part, you've seen 1,000% more than I have.
I've seen,
You
yeah.
know? Like, I've seen altogether like 3 minutes, and you've seen like 300 minutes. So
And even by the time, that the movie comes out, I may have seen like 50% more.
yeah, for all you know, you might have, like I said, you might have seen the Ultimate
Yeah.
Edition already. You might have seen the R-rated home video cut.
Yeah, I doubt. I don't know if that. Well, for all I know, what I've seen may never see the light of day.
Maybe we'll see.
Actually, I know it won't because it wasn't even finished. So there.
Well, 2 other Netflix programs are coming out. The first of which is Jason Bateman. He's going to be producing, directing, and starring in the show called Ozarks. Slash Film broke the news on this. It's a drama about a money launderer trying to hide from the cartels in Missouri. Sounds interesting. Yeah,
Missouri?
the right way to say Missouri. And so it's... Yeah, so
Really?
apparently he wants to direct the entire series, but he knows how complicated that is, so he's looking to direct like the first 2, the final 2, and maybe like 1 or 2 in between. I'm assuming it's 10. he obviously has a good working relationship with Netflix. He did Arrested Development a couple years ago there. There's the rumors that another one's going to happen. But what's interesting here is the fact that it's drama. I mean, it's Jason Bateman. He's known for comedic roles. He was obviously in The Gift last year, where he showed off some pretty good acting chops. So maybe this is the start of a trend where he's trying to expand his range.
I mean, yeah, like he's gotten very, very down lately. It seems like even in comedic roles, that tends to be his thing. He's the guy that usually just gets shat on and just stands there like offers a bunch of sarcastic comments and whatnot.
I mean, it's better than being the star of Teen Wolf 2. I hope I know I'll see that eventually, just because I have to. The fact that they made...
I keep forgetting that that's a thing.
The worst part is that it's spelled T-O-O, and he's supposed to play Michael J. Fox's cousin, who also has...
Well, you want me to blow your mind a bit? I have never seen Teen Wolf.
Oh, man. What the fuck's wrong? I have a Teen Wolf shirt. When Justin Bieber saw me last week, I was wearing my Teen Wolf shirt.
That's why he was laughing.
The best part about Teen Wolf is that the screenwriter is Jeff Loeb, who is known for a couple things, most notably writing some of the best Batman comics that have ever been made. And on top of that, he's also the showrunner for Marvel's TV stuff. Like all of the Netflix Marvel shows, he's the creative consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I think that also goes for like Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter and anything that they do in the TV realm. So you should get your shit together. He wrote Teen Wolf. It's like the first thing he did in his career. And then he also wrote, if I got my facts straight, Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, nice. I that doesn't make me want to watch it anymore, though. I don't... Teen Wolf just... It sounds like a joke.
No, it's a really...
apparently the MTV series is good.
I've seen like 3 episodes of that series. That series fucking sucks compared to the movie. This is 1985. It came out like 2 weeks after Back to the Future. So at one point, Michael J. Fox had the #1 and #2 films in the U.S. I'm not going to say any more than that. It's just, imagine if a teenager in high school found out he was a werewolf.
Yeah, you're not
It's a
pitching it any
campy.
better than,
It's a campy
people
movie
have tried
though. It's
to.
like a fun werewolf movie. It's not the
I know.
Wolfman.
I know, it's just, I don't know, it just sounds like that type of campy movie that, and then there's, you throw in the fact that it's set in the 80s, I'm sure it's very 80s, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I think I'm good.
Well, I might have to do a Death to Cinema then. It is that good. It is one of my favorite 80s movies that John Hughes is not involved with. It's just really good filmmaking. Like, when I think of Michael J. Fox, sometimes I think of him primarily as Teen Wolf. Usually it's Back to the Future. But every once in a while, I'm like, nope, it's him. Like, there's this sidekick in Teen Wolf who wears, like, the best shirts. One of them says, "What are you looking at, Dick Nose?" Like, great shit. Final thing on the show here, Tom McCarthy, he's also doing Netflix. They can get whoever the fuck they want to make shows for them. He's...
Even
Oscar
winners.
Now Oscar winners.
Best Picture winners.
Well, he didn't win Best Picture. The producers did.
No, but his movie did.
Well, this was...
Big comeback
this
after
is
the
announced
Cobbler.
before. Actually, I tweeted about that when he got his Oscar the other night. It's like, is he pretending he won for the Cobbler? So yeah, he's producing and directing the show. Who knows how many episodes? It's called 13 Reasons Why. It's produced by what's her fucking name? Not Demi Lovato. The other one, the one that used to date Justin Bieber. The other Disney Channel princess. It doesn't matter. No one cares. Yeah, I don't even remember what the show's about. It's adapted from like some young adult novel that sells pretty well. I don't want to know because I know I'm going to check it out just because of the talent involved here. Interesting title. I think it's something about like a teenager gets like a mysterious like package delivered to him and he opens it and something happens. I don't know. Like I said, I stopped reading the synopsis. But that's the whole show. That's everything we got here. Just over an hour and 30 minutes, almost 2 in fact. If you'd like to leave a review for us on iTunes, that'd be awesome. You can find us there, Dollar Reviews. Also on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, all over the place. Hopefully in the not too distant future, Google Play. We try to go anywhere where the internet takes us. You can send us an email if you got any talking points you want to disject, you don't know how to find us on the interwebs, that's dollarreviews.net, by the way. You can send me an email, brian@dollarreviews.net, and it's BRYON. You don't really got anything else to say. It's the end of February. It's
Well, then mine is also Steven at Dollar Reviews,
is
right?
it Steven or is it Steve? I don't know.
Is it Steven or Steve?
I don't know.
I don't know. I still don't even
Yeah, I
have the
could give
login
that to
for
you. I
that
mean,
yet.
I've yet to get an email from there, so I doubt anyone's ever sent one. In the same way,
Well, do we have any reviews on iTunes
I don't
yet?
think so. I mean,
So this is your chance to be the first.
they wouldn't be the
what
first.
an honor!
I think
Seriously.
I wrote our first review for us. It's not on
Really?
the iTunes page. I think you have to get a certain number before they come up, or maybe there's like a slow trickle down. I don't know. I got no clue.
Damn. Oh,
Yeah.
That sucks.
It kind of sucks. Pretty sure I did. I wrote a review for us though, because I can. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Hope it's been a good one. Have a good leap day.
Right. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm gonna do.